Hi, this is Niall from Snowdonia Runner, and we're pleased to be teaming up with RunRepeat for a review of the Asics Gel FujiTrabuco 7, the latest iteration of Asics highly cushioned trail shoe. It retails for £125, and as you'd expect, because it sits at the top of Asics trail running range, they've showcased all their available technology. In fact, they've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at it, with comfort, cushioning, stability and protection all dialed up to the maximum. This does come at the expense of some additional weight, with the FujiTrabuco 7 weighing in at 345 grams. The upper's been designed with durability and stability as a priority. Any mesh is kept to a minimum. The midfoot is entirely synthetic overlays, and as a result you get a very supportive upper, but it's not especially breathable. Pretty much everything about the upper is well padded, the tongue is thick, it offers good protection, and it's got a neat little lace garage at the top to stow away excess lacing. There's a slightly unusual variation on the gusseted tongue. Instead, there's a stretchy layer of mesh lying over the top of the tongue rather than having some elasticated material either side of it. It's a decent solution to stopping grit and dust entering the shoe. However, it's the only part of the upper that isn't very robust and potentially may wear or rip over time. The ankle cuff is thick and cushioned. It sits just below the ankle. The Achilles support is especially good. It's a nice mix of comfort and support, and it sits at just the right height. The heel is heavily reinforced with a thick internal and firm external heel counter. Carrying on with the theme, the cushioning is ramped up by both the EVA insole and SP EVA lasting. If you take the insole out, you'll find that the lasting really has quite a nice cushioned compressible feel to it, which gives a nice comfortable plush step-in feel. The midsole is Asics Flight Foam Light, which is EVA based. There's 20mm stack at the heel, 12mm at the toe, giving an 8mm drop. Asics have utilised their gel insert in the heel, but not this time in the forefoot. The outsole has been completely overhauled for the FujiTrabuco 7, and they've moved to the Asics grip. It's a fairly sticky rubber, and there's full outsole coverage with a chunky multi-directional grip and fairly deep lugs. FujiTrabuco has a wide but very stiff platform. The only flexes around the metatarsal phalangeal joint, and even then it's fairly minimal. There's no torsional flexibility to speak of. And this broad base and stiffness, although it's going to give you some protection, you're going to lose a bit of agility as a result. It certainly is a supportive shoe. The Asics DuoMax technology in the midsole, which is an evolution of the medial post, is there to try and help control any inward rolling of the foot. Having too much support can be a disadvantage off-road. It can restrict your ability to adjust your foot as it lands. The cushioning is soft in the heel, and if you've been running in a shoe like the Gel Nimbus, for example, this will be a fairly similar ride. This works very well to reduce impact as the heel strikes, especially with the secure heel support. But if your foot strikes further forward, then you're going to miss out on all this cushioning. The mid and forefoot strike is really all reliant on the Flight Foam Light, which is somewhat less inspiring. Certainly it's a shoe that feels more geared towards cushioning the landing rather than providing energy rebound. The shoe starts to feel a little flat and heavy over longer runs, but this isn't a lightweight speedy shoe. It's difficult to construct an outsole configuration that's going to cope well with everything, and the FujiTrabuco 7 strikes a good compromise. It's got a versatile outsole that won't cause you many problems. It performs well on really most trail surfaces, but particularly on softer terrain. It's decent on uneven rocky surfaces thanks to the fairly sticky rubber. Surprisingly, it does struggle on loose grit, and it's prone to skidding as you push off. The lugs aren't deep enough really for muddy or wetter conditions, and as you'd expect, aren't ideal on roads, but it's adequate for short distances. There's a rock plate in the forefoot, which gives you some extra protection. The anterior toe box is protected with a heavy rand, and a thick toe bumper which is very rigid and will give you good protection from rocks. It's interesting that the net result of all the technology and features in this shoe is actually a fairly middle of the road trail shoe that's going to suit most people most of the time. It's going to be particularly good if you're a heel striker and you're looking for that one shoe that's solid, go anywhere. And if that's what you're looking for, it's certainly worth your consideration. Likewise, if you're moving into trail running and want to replicate the support and cushioning of a daily trainer, then the FujiTrabuco 7 should be high on your shortlist. By today's standards, the Asics Gel FujiTrabuco 7 is not a particularly groundbreaking or exciting shoe. It is strongly biased towards heel striking, and the stiff upper and outsole, along with a focus on protection and stability, compromises some aspects of trail performance, namely ground feel, agility and pace. As a consequence, the FujiTrabuco 7 feels somewhat anachronistic compared to other contemporary trail shoes. Depending on your opinion, that may not be a bad thing. The FujiTrabuco 7's more is more approach may be appealing to many. For others, myself included, it is simply more shoe than you need.